I'm gonna, if you all want to stand up, and let's just come to the center. So really, it's important. This session really is a restorative session, and it's really about coming to the center, just letting the distractions of the everyday life just waft over you. Don't be get involved with those distractions, and about just simply being with the breath and being with the body. So it's literally just coming back inside, and it's about movement as well, about just doing some sort of gentle movement. So if you want to start to roll the shoulders back a few times. So really the key phrase for today is sort of lubricating the joints. So really sort of just feel that every movement is about starting to just move the joints, and then just circle the shoulders the other way. So every time you breathe in, shoulders come up. Every time you exhale, they release down. So just coordinating that movement with the breath, and then just come into some stillness. And then bringing the feet together so that the heels and toes are touching. So the legs are nice and straight, and you've got like you're lifting the kneecaps slightly. So lift the kneecaps by engaging the thighs. Engage the lower abdomen slightly, so you start to really grow a little bit taller. Lifting up through the sternum, and really getting a sense that the spine is lengthening with every inhale. So just breathing in, the crown of the head reaches up towards the ceiling, and if you've not done so already, you can close the eyes to bring the awareness inside. And then at the crown of the head, just get a sense that there's a release right at the tip of the crown. And every exhale, just feeling a little bit more of a release. So there's softening through the crown of the head, and it releases all the way down into towards the ears and the forehead. The face softens on the next out breath. The shoulders release. The chest softens. The belly softens. All the way through to the buttocks and the thighs, and down to the soles of the feet. So really getting a sense of connection now with the ground. And just let's take 3 big breaths in and breaths out and every exhale, just feel as there's a release down into the earth, really connecting with the earth. Let's get away from the fluctuations in the mind. Let's really connect with the earth. So really enjoying those breaths, and the breaths are always there for you if you need them. And then once you've done 3 long breaths, just allow the breath to be natural. Maybe notice it's lengthened, it's a bit less staggered. And then just lowering the chin towards the chest. Open the eyes and lifting the gaze. And as you breathe in, arms lift up and looking up to the hands and opening the chest. And as you exhale, releasing the arms down. So breathing in, just lifting up through the sternum, and then just encouraging this little bit of a back bend going on, a chest opener. And then breathe out. But just carry on with that movement a few times, really opening up through the chest. And then release down. Separating the feet slightly now, so separating the feet, and then next time you breathe in, come right up onto the tiptoes. So lifting the heels as high as possible, and then releasing down. So just, but with control, just lowering the heels down at the same time as the hands touch the thighs, and then again breathing in. Shoulders relaxed, and exhale all the way back down again. And just do one more. Breathe. And hold it up there. Just hold it up there. And from there, let's just see if you can just open the chest. So a little bit of a back bend goes on, but focusing on lifting the sternum. And then coming up to the center again, and then keeping high on the heels, the tiptoes. It's going to do a little bit of a swaying palm. So right side and left side, just keep moving as you come up to the center, you're breathing in. As you exhale, you're coming down to the sides. Just noticing where this is touching, where this is connecting, so feeling through the waist, lovely opening through the waist, just making sure that you're keeping the side of the waist lengthened, even the one that you're folding down into, and then come up to the center, a little bit of a chest opener again, and then floating down. And let's do a simple forward bend. So we're coming halfway down. So we're not coming all the way down to here, we're just coming halfway down. The feet are together now, if you can, just bringing the feet together. And from there, just as you breathe in, lengthen the front of the body. And as you exhale, just bringing the weight forward onto the front of the feet. So keeping the heels down. And this maybe you can feel in the backs of the legs, in the calves, in the hamstrings. And then a very gentle squat down. So just as far as is comfortable for you. So, and the heels can lift. We're just experimenting here, just feeling how the knees are. Maybe you can feel a little release into the lower back as you come down. So this is almost like a standing child's pose, and then coming back onto the fingertips, and then coming back down again, and then pressing into the ground, and you're coming into this forward bend, bending the knees, just really bending the knees, engage the glutes, and then lifting up from using the glutes, coming all the way up, arms coming up, open, and then coming back down again. And let's just bring the hands into this namaste position, this prayer position, front of the heart, and softly gazing towards the fingertips. So soft gaze towards the fingertips, taking a few breaths. So this kind of soft gaze is quite meditative. And then release from there. And let's just place one hand over the shoulder, and then let's just move this back. So again, it's this idea of lubricating the joints, just doing a little bit of a back stroke. And as the arm comes back, just looking over the shoulder. So this encourages a little twist in the spine as well. And coordinating this movement with the breath. So this is a kind of practice I would generally do, especially first thing in the morning, just to get some movement, get some energy flowing. Do about 8 to 10 of those, and then let's do the same arm, but let's do a front crawl tap movement. Again, just looking over the shoulder as the arm comes back. Just about 8 or 10 of those. If you wanted to be really yogic, you could do 9 of them, the magic number 9. And then just release, and then let's do the other arm. So back stroke first of all, then, but always being tall through the spine, and just acknowledging this gentle twist. So it's quite subtle, but it's really sort of lubricating the spine. It's giving the abdomen a little bit of a massage as well. And then once you've done 8 or 10, then we come back to the other side, the opposite way around with the arm. So I don't know why I always start with the back crawl and end with the front crawl. It seems to work for me. And then once you've done 8 or 10 of those, let's just release and release the shoulders again. And let's just kind of shrug the shoulders and just kind of bouncing up and down. This is quite addictive. Sometimes I just never want to stop. And then release from there, giving the legs a bit of a shake off. So we're going to separate the feet out now. So separate them out wide, and you can't see my feet at the moment, but they are at a 10 to 2 position. So they sort of, you maybe notice my knees are facing forward. So that's when the feet are parallel, and then the feet are going out to the side, and you can see that. So the knees, in other words, and the feet are in the same alignment. And then breathe. And then just bringing the left hand down to the right ankle, or the right shin, or the right knee. And then soften that right knee, coming all the way up. And then bringing the right hand down to the left side. So I'm just going to keep moving with the breath. So as you breathe in, you're opening up. As you exhale, you're coming back down again, so opposite sides. And maybe you can notice the effect that this has on the backs of the legs, the hamstrings. It's got a little bit of a twist again going into the spine, which is always a good thing to start to energize and to detox in the abdomen. So just going to keep moving from side to side. Just a couple more here. Again, in your own practice, you could keep it moving, you could keep going for a bit longer. And then just final one. right hand onto the left leg, and then coming up from there. And then just bringing the feet together, and then just shaking off the body. We're going to bring the weight now onto one leg. So just let's bring the weight onto the weakest leg if you can. So trying to balance out here. So, and then holding onto the knee. So I always say you should. I'm trying to look around. We're going to be in this kind of position. It's lifting up, and then let's release that, and then bring the weight onto the other leg and just lift that up. So just get a sense that it's simply opening and releasing into the thighs. Okay, just giving yourself a shake. And we're going to come down onto the floor now. So I'm just going to adjust the camera slightly. You can see my beloved yoga mat there. And let's just come down onto the floor. And when we come down, let's bring the knees into the chest. And then rolling from side to side to massage the lower back into the floor. Bringing the chin towards the chest slightly to lengthen the back of the neck while keeping the head on the ground. And then releasing the feet down, first of all. And then plugging the right knee into the chest. And from there, we're going to lengthen that leg, right leg, up into the air. So we're going to either hold behind the calf, not the calf, that's not the calf, that is the hamstring, the thigh, or, and I should have mentioned this before, you could use a belt. Always good to have a belt handy. So placing the belt around the widest part of the foot, and then just bringing that leg, first of all, into a straight position, so that it becomes straight, and then it comes vertical. But there's no strain, we're not really forcing it in any way. You know, the leg isn't shaking, or it shouldn't be. So if your leg is shaking, then release it back slightly, but eventually it will come towards a straight and vertical position with plenty of practice, but no force. And then if you wanted to, you can straighten out that left leg along the ground, and that just adds a little bit of a je ne sais quoi, as we say in Stockport. Every breath in, pressing that heel a bit higher into the air. Every exhale, bringing that leg a little bit vertical, and the sacrum is grounded down. So the sacrum is this part of the body. So we're not lifting it up in any way, we're keeping it nice and grounded. And then eventually we're going to release that leg, give it a little bit of a shake off. And then bending the left knee and then placing the right ankle over the left knee. So keeping that right foot engaged, so the toes are coming down towards that right knee, so it stops twisting the spine. And then pressing that right knee away. And if you wanted to take it a little bit further, you can bring the hands behind the left thigh. So the left thigh is coming towards the body, the right knee is pressing away. And maybe you can even feel the opening in the back of that right hip. Quite a nice opening. So a nice sort of gentle practice, and the further over you bring your left knee towards the left shoulder, the more intense you might feel that opening. But it really is quite a, and breathing into that space, it's quite a nice opening sensation. Maybe nice, maybe not, but however it is, don't get too involved with it. Just be present in that space. And then release there. And just really stretch out the entire length of the body. So pressing the heels away, fingertips pressing, and stretch open, create space, however you want to call it, throughout the entire length of the body, in between each individual vertebra, each individual cell of the body, creating some space there. And then let's come on to the other side. So starting with both feet flat on the floor, this time hugging the left knee in towards the chest to release that hip. And then using a belt, if you wanted to, rather wind part of the foot. And really pressing that leg up into the air. So the leg, first of all, it becomes straight. So no matter what kind of jaunty angle it's at, have that leg straight. And then eventually you're just using your belt or hands on the back of the thigh. But the main thing here is, wherever you are, if you're with a belt or holding behind the thigh, keeping those shoulders relaxed and moving back. So I'm not introducing any tension into the shoulders and neck at all. And then if you wanted to move it on, you can straighten that right leg this time along the ground. And if you do that and the left leg starts to shake, you know, that's too much. And so adjust. You can always adjust. You're in control. It's your practice. So maybe you don't want to bring the leg all the way back. Maybe you can just move it halfway. Just noticing the body, noticing how it's reacting to this. And one thing that we notice in yoga is that the body is asymmetric quite often. So one leg or one part of the body will react differently to another part of the body. That's just how it is. A couple more breaths here. And then release. Both knees into the chest, massaging the lower back. And then rolling over onto the right hand side and coming up. And we're going to come onto all fours. So sitting back in child's pose if you can. So sitting back towards the heels. If the backside doesn't touch the heels, that's fine. And there's no strain through the knees. So if the knees aren't liking this, then you can just come halfway down or whatever's comfortable for you. And just placing the forehead on the floor if you can. Or if you can't, you can place it on a block or on the hands. And then wherever you are, just breathe in, lengthen the front of the body. Release back down once more. And then coming up onto all fours. And as you exhale, coming back down onto the heels. So breathing in, coming up onto all fours. And then coming back onto the heels. Just moving through this a few times. And then next time you're up, we're going to just arch the back like an angry cat. And then as you breathe in, we're going to lift the chest. So just carry on with that practice. And every time you breathe in, just feeling the chest lifts. Maybe you can feel it open in the rib cage. Just feeling this movement like it's a wave coming up and down the spine. As you exhale, the tailbone tucks in, and eventually the chin tucks in. As you inhale, lifting from the chest, and eventually the sitting bones lift. And then we're going to come into a flat back position, rest back into child's pose. And then as you breathe in, coming up onto all fours, we're going to tuck the toes in, and we're going to press back into downward facing dog. And as you breathe in, releasing the knees down to the ground, and then coming back into child's pose. We're going to move through this little downward dog sequence a few times. Going up, tucking the toes under, pressing back, and just noticing the effect this has on the backs of the legs. So just breathing in, and just next time we come into downward facing dog, we're going to hold it there. But we're going to walk out the dog. So we're going to bend the right knee, straighten the left, and then we're going to come onto the other side. So really just moving from side to side, sucking the belly in slightly. And if you look down towards the knees as well, so looking towards the knees, and this helps to lengthen the back of the neck. And then from there, just come into stillness, pressing the chest back to the thighs. And as you breathe in, release down, and sitting back into child's pose. And breathing deeply there. So just breathing in and out a few times. Right into the back of the heart, side of the ribs. Really nice expansion through the rib cage. And then just preparing to move. So as you're coming up onto all fours, now we're going to come into a standing position here. So we're going to tuck the toes under, and we're going to, the toes are tucked under, including the little toes. Knees are together and sitting back, and this gives you quite a nice opening through the backs of the soles of the feet. Nice being the four-letter word. And we're going to flatten the feet here. Now this gives you a nice opening on the front of the shins, all down to the toes. If you wanted to press the fingers into the ground, fingertips into the ground, as far as you would like. So you can either roll over the toes, or if you want to be sensible about it, just coming up to a standing position, however is comfortable for you. Okay, so I'm just going to adjust the screen slightly. We're going to be coming towards the end of our time now, but we're just going to do a final little bit of a sequence, a triangle sequence. So Let's just separate the feet out wide. And this time the feet are parallel. And generally speaking, it's this kind of rule of thumb, if you like. It's the alignment between the wrists and the ankles. So imagine that picture that Leonardo da Vinci painted. That man in the circle. And so I'm just going to release the shoulders here. And then from there, we're going to bend the right knee, the right foot out to the side, coming onto the ball of the left foot, left heel back, hips facing forward. We're going to breathe, arms up, palms open just momentarily to release the shoulders, palms down, and then let's just do this side bend into a triangle. So the main thing really with the triangle, it is this opening right across the heart space. So really feel that expansion there. And just make sure as well that if the hand is too far down, then the chest is pointing downward. But we want an opening. So bring the bottom hand up as much as is required to give that opening and that expansion, that real expression. And of course, we've been breathing whilst we've done that. And then the next thing, we're going to move on to our warrior. So warrior posture, we want to make sure that we're not leaning forward. We want to have the torso nice and upright. That front knee bent as much as possible. So it's quite strong on the front thigh, but also the back leg is straight. So we've got some good muscle activity down there as well. And then we're looking towards the front hand, softly gazing to the front hand. Taking a few breaths in this position. And then we're going to come into this side stretch. All the way from the heel, all the way up to the side of the body. Opening the chest, and then just releasing that arm down. So we can hold these postures for as long as we like, and then bringing the feet so that they're parallel with each other. And then let's come all the way to the other side. So left foot out to the side, right heel back, hips facing forward. Breathe, open the chest, and then coming into our triangle, classic kind of yoga posture. Opening that chest. Remember, if the hand is too far down, then the chest will be pointing down. So let's just keep that expansion right across the heart space. So my head is in a neutral position right now, but and that's fine to have it like that. That's quite comfortable for me. If your shoulders and neck are okay, then you can look up to the top hand, but that's not for everybody. So keep it nice and simple. And then from there, coming into our warrior, looking towards the front hand, softly gazing. Every exhale, releasing that front knee down, bending that front knee. Torso is nicely upright, so we're not sort of leaning forward. If anything, we're trying to encourage the backward leaning of this, and then eventually we come into our Parsvakonasana, really opening up the body. So hold it there for a few breaths, just really enjoying the breath. The sensation, it opening up through the side of the waist, up into the rib cage, the armpit, and then releasing that arm down, coming up, and then Just bringing the feet together and just breathe. So that brings to a close the yoga practice today, the physical yoga practice known as asana. And if you want to just come into a short meditation or a final relaxation to Shavasana, then we've got other videos in this sequence which you can then just move on to. So it's worth really taking that time to do a final relaxation after this session. I hope you have a great rest of the day. Namaste.